What's up, guys? Welcome back to another review, and this time we're going to be taking a look at the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie made in 1995. Back in the day, I was a huge fan of the Power Rangers, loved the Power Rangers, had the toys, had everything that there was to have from Power Rangers. And of course, in 1995, when this thing came on the big screen, I saw it, and I loved it when I was a 5-year-old. Now looking back on it 22 years later, this movie does not hold up. It's campy, it's cheesy, it's dumb, stupid, but god damn it, it's still a fun watch. It's still fun to watch this movie because it's harmless. There's nothing in this movie that is offensive to anyone. It's just a harmless movie that is just cheesy, it's fun, it knows that it's cheesy, it knows that it's campy, but it's still a fun watch because you can clearly tell that everyone in this movie is having fun with the material that they're working with. And it's infectious as a viewer because it makes you enjoy what you're watching because the people in the movie are enjoying what they're doing. And to me, those are what make either the really, really good movies or the very, very fun to watch movies. And this is a fun to watch movie. I mean, come on, look. You got the holdovers from the TV show, and they don't get enough credit for being halfway decent actors. And in this movie, they're decent. They're good. Of course, the standouts are Jason David Frank, who plays Tommy, and Johnny Young Bosch, who plays Adam. Now, to me, Adam is a standout in this movie because I don't think Johnny Young Bosch gets enough credit for being a decent actor. And of course, you got Rita, and you got Lord Zed, and you got Goldar, and they're always fun to watch. Robert Axelrod, who voices Lord Zed, just gives Lord Zed that booming, commanding presence. And just that overall design of Lord Zed in general is just so freaking badass and translates so well to the big screen. And you got Goldar, who is in his glory, who is in his armored monkey glory, and he's spewing out these one-liners, and it looks great. And you got Paul Freeman, who plays Ivan Ooze, and he's playing Ivan Ooze like a kid-friendly Freddy Krueger, and he's hysterical. And you can clearly tell that he's having a ball with the material that he's given. He's just hamming it up, and it's just so infectious. Now, and of course, the story of this movie is something that could have easily been in a Power Rangers TV show. Ivan Ooze wants to take over the world. He uses his ooze to brainwash the parents into digging up his monsters, and the Power Rangers and the Power Rangers have their own plot because Ivan Ooze destroys the command center, leaves Zordon for dead. The Power Rangers gotta travel to this distant planet to pretty much get the power back. That's pretty much the story. Nothing complicated at all about it. Very simple, very straightforward, easy to follow. And that's the best. And that's what I like about this movie. It knows what it is. It doesn't pretend to be anything different. The fight scenes. They're what you expect from a Power Rangers. They're over the top. They're fun to watch. The special effects, in some cases they work. In other cases they flat out don't work. The costumes, they look good. I like the new look of the costumes in the movie. I like the whole armored look, but they still maintain the traditional look of what they are in the show. Of course, the show's skin tight spandex would not work to film. So giving them a more beefier look, it translates better on film, and they actually look pretty cool too. I really wish they would have transferred them to the show itself, but whatever. The set pieces, like the whole distant planet they travel to, it's got a really good look to it. I like the whole jungle flavor of it. It's refreshing to see, since in the original Mighty Morphin show, they barely left Angel Grove, and when they would always go to Rita's lair. So they wouldn't really go to any faraway distant planets, or sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't. But they mostly stayed on Earth, or they went to the moon. So it was always very hit and miss. But in this movie, they actually spent a good portion of the movies the Rangers spent on this distant planet, which I liked. It was refreshing to see. And of course, their chemistry, and of course the chemistry between the 6 actors, they translate it to the movie. They work well off one another. They're good. I think every single cast member that played the Rangers are very underrated as actors because they're not horrible. I've seen horrible acting. And these guys, they're not as bad as people want you to think they are. That's just me. What else? Actually, that's about it. That really is. Now, things I don't like about this movie, the CGI does not fare well. Years later, it bad. Especially the Megazord, it looks terrible. The CGI is laughable. And by 1995 standards, you could have easily polished up a little bit, because Terminator 2 came out a couple of years before this, and the CGI in that movie still holds up in my eyes today. And the fact that this thing came out years after that, 3 years after T2, and they look this bad, come on now. Put some creative juices into your thing. I think my main problem is the fact that Zed and Rita, they get little to no screen time. They come off like cameos in a way, and it's kind of disappointing, because how I would have did this movie, once Ivan Ooze gets on screen, I would have had him manipulate Zed and Rita in a way by joining forces with them, and then together the three of them take down the Rangers, destroy the command center, and send the Rangers off to the distant planet. And then when the Rangers are out of the picture, that's when I would have Zed and Rita double-cross. That's when I would have Ivan Ooze double-cross Zed and Rita. And then in my third act, I would have had Zed and Rita, who are like so like hell-bent on trying to take down Ivan Ooze. I would have had them form a truce with the Rangers, and together Zed and Rita, along with the Rangers, would combine their powers to take on Ivan Ooze. Since Ivan Ooze clearly pretty much took out Zed and Rita in the movie like that. He pretty much, did Alakazam, and he shrunk them into like a little snow globe. The baddest bastard, Lord Zed, and his mistress Rita went down within a matter of seconds to Ivan Ooze in the film. So they pretty much are treated like afterthoughts, which sucks, because I really would have did more with them storyline-wise. I would have given Ooze some good screen time, and I would have given Zed and Rita some good screen time too, instead of regulating them to just nothing roles, which is a damn shame, because I think you could have torn the Power Rangers formula on its head a little bit by having the villains join forces with the good guys to take on a more common enemy in Ivan Ooze. But yeah, that's my biggest problem with the movie, and to me, it's a major flaw of the movie, because you could have made this movie much better than what it really was, but it's here and there. But this movie does have some good spots in it. Like, it actually really is pretty funny. I love this scene where Ivan Ooze kind of forces this parent to do like dance moves. That's just hysterical. I love this little bantering that he has with Goldar near the end of the movie, where Kimberly is going to like blast him off like this. Is going to like do a kill shot on them, and Ivan Ooze is like, here comes that cute little pink ranger to the rescue. And Goldar responds with, "Oh, you think she's cute too?" And Ivan Ooze then turns to Goldar with this "what the fuck, bro" kind of look, and it's fucking hysterical. I laugh every time I see it. I think it's pretty funny. So yeah, like, this movie's not without its humor. Oh wait, another flaw this movie has: Bulk and Skull are barely in this movie. I love Bulk and Skull. They're freaking hysterical. You see them in the beginning, and then they come back in the end, and then that whole middle section, they're just gone. And even in the beginning, they're just you barely get them. And at the end, they're barely there too. Bulk and Skull are like terribly underutilized in this movie, which is a shame, because you could have gotten some more comedic gems out of Bulk and Skull, who I've always enjoyed, and I've always thought they were pretty funny. Even when I watch them now, I still think they're funny. I made my 70-something-year-old grandma laugh to Power Rangers, especially Bulk and Skull. And my grandmother's like, she's in her 70s, and she's from Afghanistan, so she's a hardcore Afghan immigrant, and who does not understand American culture that well. And she laughed at the antics of Bulk and Skull. If my grandmother can laugh to Bulk and Skull, almost anyone can laugh to Bulk and Skull. So yeah, that is a problem that I do got with the movie. But yeah, I think all in all, when all said and done, I'm going to give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. As a Power Rangers fan, it's a fun watch. As a moviegoer, there's a lot of story elements that could have been handled so much better. And if they were handled better, this thing could have been maybe an easy 8, but 6.5 out of 10. You know, it's still enjoyable, but it could have been so much better. But those are my thoughts on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.